Very good morning, welcome to UPSC channels. Today I am going to start second part of this fundamental right chapter, and before starting video, one small request from you guys. Please subscribe my video and please press the bell icon in order to get instant notifications, right? So small revision from previous parts that already I explained, right? First of all, I explained regarding the fundamental rights. That's all category, all 6 category. I explained right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitations, right to freedom of religion, culture, educational right, and right to constitutional remedies. That I have just explained. Under right to equality, from Article 14 to Article 18. This part's right to equality comes. Right to equality comes under Article 14 to Article 18. Right to freedom comes under Article 19 to Article 22. Right against exploitations comes under Article 23-24. Right against exploitations. Right to freedom of religion comes under Article 25 to 28. Right to freedom. That culture, educational right comes under Article 29 to 30, and right to constitutional remedies comes under Article 32. Right to equality, Article 14. Article 14 deals with equality before law and equal protection of law. That nothing but every citizen of India is equal before law. No partiality must be done, and each and every person will get equal protection of law, right? Next, Article 15 deals with prohibition of discrimination on ground of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. Article 15 deals with prohibition of discrimination on grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. Article 16 deals with equality of opportunity in job sectors, in public, private, and all that job sector. Equality of opportunity must be there, right? And abolition of untouchability, and that its prohibition must be in prohibition of its practice comes under Article 17, right? And abolition of titles, right? Article 14 deals with what? Just answer. Every person equal before law and equally protected. Article 15 deals with it prohibits the discrimination on the behalf of what? Discrimination on the behalf of, think and answer. Discrimination on behalf of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth, right? Next, Article 16 deals with equality of opportunity in job sectors, right? That could be private, public, and all, right? Next, Article 17 deals with abolition of untouchability. Untouchability should not be there, right? It must be prohibited. Where it's written? Article 17. Article 18 deals with no Maharaja Dhiraj titles must be there. It's given except military, right? Next, right to freedom. Right to freedom comes under Article 19 to Article 22. Right to freedom, right? So they are talking about in right to freedom, that nothing but Article 19 to 22. Protection of 6 rights regarding freedom of protection of 6 rights regarding freedom of speech, expression, assembly, association, movement, residence, professions. Next, protection in respect of conviction of offences comes under Article 20. Protection of life and personal liberty comes under Article 21. Right to elementary educations comes under Article 21 subclause A. Article 21A. Protection against arrest and detention in certain cases comes under Article 22, right? Just again revise what we have read. Our right to freedom, that nothing but from Article 19 to 22. Right to freedom, Article 19 to 22, that deals with protection of 6 rights regarding freedom of speech and expression. Freedom of speech and expression comes under Article 19. Freedom of assembly, forming assembly, grouping, and all, right? Freedom of forming associations, we can associate, we can gather at one place, right? We can initiate any movement. Freedom of movement is there in India, right? Rally and things comes, opposing government also we can do movement, right? So residence, we can have residence any places all over India, right? So we are having right to have residence, right to profession also. These are all things with 6 rights, 1 2 3 4 5 6, that nothing but speech and expression, assembly, association, movement, residence, profession. These all things comes article 19. It's very very important, article 19, right? Article 20 deals with protection in respect of conviction for offences. Protection in respect of conviction for offences, right? Article 20 deals with protection in respect of conviction for offences, right? Article 21 deals with protection of life and personal liberty. Protection of life and personal liberty comes under Article 21. Protection of life and personal liberty comes under Article 21. Right to elementary education comes under Article 21A, right? In under Article 21 only, that nothing but right to privacy as a fundamental right is being added, right? Right to, it comes under Article 21, right to privacy, right? So recently in news, right, Article 21 came into picture with respect to right to privacy, because right to privacy is also a fundamental right recently added. No separate category is being given to right to privacy, because it now also fundamental rights is being divided into 6 category, right? Right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational right, right to constitutional remedies, right? So things that what very very important to know, confusion should not be there. Only 6 category of fundamental right, no 7th one, right? So your right to elementary education comes under Article 21A. 21A deals with right to elementary education. Every person should get what, should be educated, right? Protection against arrest and detention in certain cases. For certain cases you are fully protected, right? It's not like that randomly anybody could be sent to jail, right? Anybody could be arrested, right? You can have protection against arrest also for certain cases, right? Next is right against exploitation. Article 23 to 24, right against exploitation. Article 23 deals with prohibition of traffic in human beings and forced labor, right? Children and all below that 14 years old, that nothing but what, being forced labor they are doing, right? Some people are kidnapping people and all, forcing them to do forced labor, earning money, and also our government is telling that this is also a crime, right? So this human traffic cases happening in India. So human traffic cases must be prohibited, as well as forced labor of children must be what, must be prohibited, right? Because they are having their learning phases there, right? They must force toward which phase? Those small child must comes under which category? Article 21A, because they are having right to elementary education. It's not time for doing labor and all. That child labor is a crime, and really people should not force child labor, right? It's that because they are having, constitution of India has given the small kids right to elementary education, right? At least elementary education they must have. Prohibition of employment of children in factories, etc. Article 24 deals with that what, employment of children must be prohibited in factories, right? Got it? Next goes to next category, 4th category, that nothing but right to freedom of religion. Article 25 to 28. Article 25 to 28, 25, 26, 27, 28. 25 gives us idea of what, freedom of conscience and free professions, practice and propagations of religion, right? Article 25. Any religion is free to propagate their professions under what? Article 25, right? They are free to propagate their practice and propagation of religion, right? Freedom to manage religious affairs. Freedom to manage religious affairs comes from Article 26. Freedom from payment of taxes or for promotion of any religion. Freedom from payment of taxes for promotion of any religion. Article 27 deals with a person is free to freedom from payment of taxes, no need to pay taxes on the behalf of religion concerns, right? Freedom from attending religious instruction or worship in certain cultural education institutions. Article 28 deals with freedom from attending religious instruction or worship in certain educational institution. Article 28. So Article 15 deals with that nothing but freedom from conscience and free profession, practice and propagation of religion. That Article 25. Article 26 deals with freedom to manage religious affairs. Religious affairs, that nothing but you are free to manage your religious concerns. So Article 25, propagate religion. Article 26, manage religious affairs. Article 27 deals with freedom from payment of taxes for promoting any religion. Article 28 deals with that what freedom from attending religious instructions, right? Every citizen is free to attend in religious concerns, right? That's why lots of Babas and all it's being coming into picture in India, right? They are free to propagate their what professions, propagate their what religious professions. That's different thing, that what they are misusing this right to freedom of religions, right? Because they are free to propagate their religious concerns, right? They are free to manage their religious concerns. They are free to freedom from paying taxes for promotions of any religious concerns. Article 27. Article 28 deals with freedom from attending religious instruction or worship in certain educational institutions, right? Next is that next thing they have given, that what cultural and educational right. Cultural educational right, Article 29 and 30. Cultural means just like festival things and all, we need to come in these things, right? Educational rights, it must be discussed. Protection of language, script and culture of minorities. Protection of language, script and culture of minorities comes under Article 29. Cultural and educational right deals with protection of language, script and culture of minorities. Article 29, right? Article 30 deals with right of minorities in order to establish and administer educational institutions. Educational institution comes under Article 30. Article 30 deals with right of minority to establish and administer educational institutions. Article 30, right? Article 29, 30 already explained. Article 32, right to constitutional remedies. This is very important. Article 32 is very important part of fundamental right, because Baba Bhimrao Ambedkar told that nothing but this is one of the important article of fundamental right, because this fundamental rights, Article 32 is right to constitutional remedies. It allows each and every citizen to move to Supreme Court for enforcement of fundamental rights. If any fundamental rights is violated of any citizens, that they can issue that nothing but writs. Writs are, how many writs are there? These nothing but 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 writs are there, right? It's 5 writs are mentioned under Article 32. Those are nothing but habeas corpus, first one, second one mandamus, third prohibition, fourth certiorari, and fifth qua warranto, right? This is very important, right? So this I am going to discuss this Article 32 in detail. There we will understand. So for better understanding and better remembering, I want you to recall all whatever we studied, because it will store in mind that forever, right? So again revise from scratch, right? Don't think that I'm making you to remember those things in fast manner, right? Because this table is very important from exam point of view. That's why I'm revising again and again, right? Right to equality, Article 14 to 18. It deals with what? 14, 15, 16, 17, right? 18, right? A, B, C, D, it's given, right? Right to equality, Article 14 deals with Article 14. Just just pause the video for a second moment and think that nothing but Article 40 deals with every person is equal before law. Every person will be what? Is equally protected before law. Article 14, right? Article 15 deals with what? Article 15 think, right? We have freedom of what? Prohibition of discrimination on the ground of religion, race, caste, sex or place of birth, right? Article 15, right? Article 16 deals with, we are going for job, right? So for job sector, that nothing but what? We need to be what? Have equal opportunity in matters of public employment, right? Every person is equal, right? Now next, Article 16 deals with equal opportunity, that already I discussed. Article 17 that untouchability should not be there, untouchability should be avoided, that nothing but Article 17 deals with abolition of untouchability and prohibition of its practices, that nothing but abolition of untouchability. Article 18 deals with titles must be abolished, abolition, title must be there, right? Title must be abolished, removed, right? No titleship should be given except what? Military and academics, right? Next, this right to equality already finished. Next, right to freedom, 19 to 20, 1922, that nothing but 19, 20, 21, 22, 90, 90, 90, 90, 90, that nothing but what? You should know that what this given right to regarding freedom of speech expression. You can correlate this freedom of speech and expression with respect to that Kanhaiya Kumar and all, Hardik Patel and all, right? So think that what this protection, that nothing but right to assembly, right? Even they misuse these things also, that what a right to associate, movement, residence, professions, right? 19. Article 20 deals with protection in respect of conviction for offense. Everybody is protected in respect of conviction for offense, right? 21 deals with protection of life and personal liberty, where it comes, where everybody's life is protected, with personal liberty also. Article 21, that's why we are free to stay protected in India, right? From how many category that we are giving protected? Land, sea and air, right? Air Force, Navy and what? Air Force, Navy, Army, all three sides and all three dimensions we are protected in India, right? Right to elementary education, everybody should be educated, right? From childhood, that nothing but they are forced to go for educations, that nothing but Article 21A, right? That protection against arrest and detentions, Article 22, right? So think that next category, right against exploitation, Articles 23, 24. 23 deals with human trafficking cases and all that. 23, 24 deals with employment, children should not do job in factories and all, right? So think Article 24 explained. Article 25, freedom of, that nothing but free profession, you can propagate any religion, right? Article 26 deals with religious affairs can be managed. Article 27 deals with that nothing but for promoting any religion, that no need to pay taxes to the government, right? Article 28 deals with that nothing but everybody is free to attend religious concerns, right? That nothing but Article 28. Article 29 deals with that protect language must be protected, any script and culture minorities must be protected under the Article 29. Next, Article 30 deals with right of minorities to administer educational right. So think that Article 32, that you know that everybody is approaching civil court, that Supreme Court, High Court and all, for what anybody is having can move to Supreme Court with by the issue of writs, that nothing but habeas corpus. 6 writs are there. First one habeas corpus, second one mandamus, third one that prohibition, fourth certiorari, fifth what quo warranto, right? So these are 5. Sorry by mistake I told that 6 writs. It's 5 writs are there, that nothing but 5 writs are there, right? 5 writs are nothing but what? Habeas corpus, that nothing but mandamus, third prohibition and fourth certiorari and what quo warranto. Now I am moving to next page. Prohibition is, this table they have given that nothing but fundamental right of foreigners. What are the fundamental right of foreigners, right? Obviously this thing comes in mind, right? So fundamental rights available only to citizens, not for foreigners. What are the fundamental rights? Article 15, Article 16, Article 19, Article 20 and Article 30. Article 15 was what? Just recall that nothing but prohibition of discrimination on the ground of religion, race, caste, sex or place of birth. Article 15, right? Just think, if any foreigner you see, he started doing what? Discrimination in India, right? On the behalf of what? On the behalf of racism happens, right? Every time that what African people, racism comes, we used to see African people, blackest people, and we used to say that we are free to say that what so much black he is, right? So think that because they cannot say issue those kind of things in what Indian government, they cannot blame Indian that nothing but why they are creating racism. Why? Because think that prohibition of racism is not there for foreigners, fundamental right. It's only for Indian citizens. Equality of opportunity in matters of public employment. Whatever opportunity open to opportunity sector exposed to Indians, that much opportunity in job sectors is not open for what? Foreigners, right? So public employment is not there in Article 16. Article 19, that six rights already explained in Article 90, that freedom of speech, expressions, that nothing but assembly, associations, movements, residence, professions and all. So foreign citizens are not in our constitution does not allow that for foreigners to, that nothing with these six rights under this protection of six rights. What are those things? That nothing but freedom of speech and expressions, assembly, association, movement, residence and what professions, this they have given, and protection of language, script, culture of minorities. Article 29 is not for foreigners, only for Indian. Article 30, that nothing but minority to establish and administer educational institutions. They do not have right of minorities to establish, administer educational institutions, right? Just like madrasa and all there in India, because Muslims are in minority, so but Muslims are free to open their what madrasa and all in India, right? Because Constitution Article 30 they have given right to open that what madrasa and all small educational institutions and administer educational institutions. But the thing is that if any foreigner tries to do that in India, so fundamentally it's not correct, right? Because they need to take permission from government. These matters must be issued in parliament, only then they are free to profess their what religious and educational and administration things and all, right? Next they have given that what next I am going to discuss regarding that what fundamental right to both citizens and foreigners. Whatever fundamental rights except these 15, 16, 19, 20, except 15, 16, 19, 20, that nothing but what fundamental rights, that's Article 14, every equality before law and equal protection of law, it's there for foreigner also, except enemy aliens, except enemy aliens, foreigners except enemy aliens. Suppose some Pakistani and all will come to India, right? So our constitution does not guarantee that what those foreigners, that nothing but because they are belonging to enemy aliens. If Chinese people will come, means what they are belonging to enemy aliens, because always the war of conflict issue keeps on happening in between India, China, India, Pakistan and all. So think that what they are enemy aliens are not protected, equally protected apart from other foreigners, right? Or apart from friendly aliens. Article 20 deals with protection in respect of conviction for offences. Protection in respect of conviction for offences. Article 20 deals with protection in respect of conviction for offences. Next, Article 21 deals with protection of life and personal liberty. This article already explained, no? Just I am explaining in fast, right? Because due to that we have to finish this chapter also. Article 21A deals with right to elementary education. It's for foreigners as well as Indian citizens. Article 22, that nothing but arrest and detention in certain cases, right? Prohibition of human trafficking, but that's nothing but foreigners are also protected in India. No human trafficking must be there, right, with respect to foreigners also. Employment, the prohibition of employment of children. If any small kid foreigners is there in India, means they're fully protected. They must they should not go for job in factory and all, right, because he doesn't matter if foreign, but the thing that what they are also fully protected by constitutions under article 24, that nothing but they must prohibition of employment of children even if foreigner, that must be there. Freedom of conscience, of profession, of free profession practice and propagation of religions, right? freedom of propagation of religion. Or that's why that what in Scotland Temple you might have seen that nothing but lots of foreigners are there. They keeps on propagating throughout India through their religions, right? Religious concerns and all. Freedom manage religious affairs. The article 26 deals with freedom to manage religious affairs, right? Article 27 with respect to foreigners also, freedom from payment of taxes when propagating that what propagating that nothing but what their religious concerns, right? And freedom from attending religious instructions or worship in certain educational institution, article 28. If you remember, article 32 is not for what is not there in this table for foreigners, right? Means article 32 is not for as a fundamental right for foreigners, right? Very good. Now the thing is that there's something that right to equality and everything discussed in details with respect to some giving data also, right? All fundamental rights it's discussed in detail. It's very good book, very nice book, right? So from now onwards I'm thinking of explaining these things with respect to what their part by part, that in one video you will get that nothing but right to equality, everything will be discussed with respect to right to equality. And okay, so be focused. In next part of this video I am going to discuss that right to freedom, and next to this it's going to come that word right to education, and next to it that nothing but it's going to come that word right against exploitations, right to freedom of religions and all, right to constitution. This chapter is going to be a bit large as compared to other chapters, but the thing is that I am guaranteeing you that none of the concepts I will miss, right? And one more thing is there, that one request from you guys, that nothing but I am the motto of teaching you that directly from this book, because of things that what no need to pay heavy amount for the what for purchasing books and all, because it's recent technology is there. So start using technology and learn more and more, and have killer attitude in order to crack UPSC examinations and get succeed as soon as possible, right? And one small request from you guys, that please subscribe the channel and tell to your friends whomsoever interested of learning polity for IAS or SSC or any CDS and or any what competitive examinations, that what please discuss about this channel Edusphere to your friends also, and spread the word of educations. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Thanks for watching the video. See you in the next part.